Okay, so in the last session we did briefly talked about what is collections and what is the purpose of collections, and we have gone through a minor overview of hash map, and today we will go deep dive into lists and sets. And then, tomorrow we'll talk about map. I'll cover only two topics today. What is set, how you can use it, what is list, how you're going to use it. Okay. Now, did you observe whenever I type in a class, automatically you get an import. That means the class is available there. I mean, you can see again. So I'm just created a blank class person. Maybe I'll change it. Okay, I'll keep it as probably employee class. Oh, okay. I already have an employee class. Okay, that's fine. I'll use collection because I have an employee class. That's why it is giving a problem. Now I'll change it to collection demo. So let's remove everything. Okay. Now, let's talk about error list first. So now when you go on to, as I told you yesterday, I mean, this is the official documentation. You can get every reference for the list. List is an interface. So, it is part of the Java util collection, and list is an interface. And the list is implemented by these many different utility classes. Every class has its own meaning. So you need to read through all these material. I mean, every class, what is the purpose of each class, and read through that material. So, I mean, in the list and a high level, you get a lot of definitions like, these are all different methods available. So whoever is the class implementing, meaning, these highlighted classes, any of the classes, they, not here, this one, also implementing non-implemented classes. These classes will have the implementation of every method that is defined in interface list. So that means in the interface list, you will have all these method definitions. So now each method, purpose is different. I'll go over a couple of them, but you need to go through all of these definitions, understand, what each method is, what is the purpose of each method definition here. Now, I'll come over these one by one method, walking through you an example. Now, the list interface implementation, as I told you all these things. Let's look at this error list. So, when you click on error list, you can see error list is part of the util package, and you can see, all implemented interfaces. There are different interfaces implemented and direct classes. So in the list, you can see these are all the real method implementations in the error list. Now let's walk through the code example. Now here I'm saying public, defining a method, error list. Okay, I can't do it. Error list demo. No. lists. In the array list, you can store primitive data types or objects. Let's walk through the primitive data types. So lists, what type of list I am trying to create? I am trying to create primitive data type of string. Now here I am giving some variable name and then new array list. I am trying to create an object of array list. Now, because I created an array list of type string, that means in this array list I can store only string types. Now let's say names dot. Names is an array list object name now. Dot. Now you can see all the classes, meaning whatever these methods that you see here, the implementation of array list class, you will see, you can access all these methods because the object that you created is an instance of array list. Either I say instance or object, the terminology is same. Now let's go back here. Names dot add. So that means I am trying to add elements into the collection of type string. Now add. Let's say I am saying 1. Now you can clearly see it's throwing an error saying that, it's, add is not applicable of string types. Now let's say, because I try to add integer, right? So now let's say I'm trying to add names. No problem. I can add all string types. Names, similarly, names.add. And, like this, you can add any number of strings to the array list. So there is no limit. Now, whenever you store these elements, this index starts with 0. As I explained to you in the last session, always the index starts with 0. Now this index is 1, and now this index is 2. So this is how you can create primitive data type array list. So even if you want to create another array list, you want to create integer, you can do that. So any primitive types you can create. So, you cannot create something like this. So now, count equals a new array list. This does not work. I cannot say just a basic primitive types. Now you can see, int is a primitive type. So for every primitive type, you can have objects also available. Here, though string is a primitive type, string object is also the string class. So similarly, for int is a primitive type, integer is an object for the primitive types. So even double, float, for everything, you can have objects available as well as a simple primitive types available. But you cannot create array list with the simple primitive types. You can create array list with objects for the primitive types. So like this, you can create and then, count.add. Now, though you added as a simple 0, it will take, internally, it will try to convert into an integer object. So now I'm trying to add 1. So still it will work. This is how you can create array lists for the objects of the primitive types. Now, this is kind of storing the data into an array list. Now let's look at Now I wanted to do bulk operations also. I can do that. Now here I'm creating one more string object, string type array list. Now here says I'm saying names. I'm creating namely some other array list object of type string. So now earlier we did add one by one element to the array list collection. Now I'm trying to add. So these are all the methods available coming from the array list. So every method is a self-explanatory. In the Eclipse, when you go on edit, you will get the documentation, and this will explain what is the purpose of that method. So every time the documentation gets changed. Now I'm trying to take add all. Add all meaning you can pass full collection. So here what did I do? I created a array list, and then I created a second array list. I'm adding all these elements at one line. Internally, it will loop through every object and will store, add the list to the collection. So now here you can do something like this: names list, name list dot add like this. Now what does that mean? The first array list will have only 3 values, and second array list will have 4 values. This is added first, and then the next 3 is added in the second line. Now let's see what was added to the list. So now I'm trying to do a print statement, names dot size. So that means you will see how many elements are available in that collection. In the second statement, I'm saying name list dot size. Now let's call this method in the main method. So now I'm trying to create a new collection demo object. So now you see that whenever I do new name collection object, automatically that class will be imported here. So that means the class is available in this main method. Now I'm creating an object of demo, some name for that object. Now demo dot array list demo. Now you see that first one is 3 and second one is 4, and you can print them also. What is the values? Also, you can print names. I'm giving a second print statement. Names dot toString. These are all the methods available in the collection. I'm not implementing anything on my own. Okay, now let's run this again. See that. The first one is 3, and second one is, you see that Prasanna came first because I added the element at first, and then rest of 3 next. That's why you see the same order. The first list, the same order, second list is also in the same order. So that's how you can see how many elements are there. And the second thing, you stored the collection and how you can use this array list. So you can, I think I explained you yesterday, but I'll repeat again. So you can go through the, loop through them. So I loop through the first list. No, I can't do like that. String type, name, names, because I'm looking through the array list, object, names. Okay, name. That's it. So now you can see, all three names are printed here. So that's how you can loop through the elements and get, use the data, or you're sure of the collection and you can get a specific element also. Specific elements, names.get of the methods are available from the array list class. Get index, which item you want from the index. So now I put the 1. That means it should print Bala. Like this. So that's how you can, yeah.
I have a small doubt. Like, can we add 2 data types in the array list at the same time?
No, you cannot add.
Okay.
You can use the array list of a same type.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay, that's what the array lists are, and please go through and try to use all these array list methods. I have given you a sample methods. I showed you the demo for add all, and another one get. This one I showed you. So now similarly go through the size also I showed you. So it's simple. It tells you the for size you see that the method description tells you exactly what it is. Returns the number of elements in that list. So try to implement all these methods, go through them, and ask me more questions. Any questions?
Sir, hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
In 28th line, in for loop, sir, string name, you wrote name, sir?
Yes.
From where names is you got, sir?
So these names is nothing but an object, this one.
Okay,
so I created a names object and I have added these 3 elements to the name. So now I'm taking the names, array list, and looping through. So each time the loop goes, it will give me one string object. That is nothing but I declared myself as a different name. So you can give any name, anything like that. Just for variable name, I defined a name. And what type of the variable it comes? It comes as a type of a string because this array list is of type string. So each time the loop goes over, and every time you fetch an element that is of type string. So that's why I mentioned here as a string. And then when you come inside, yeah, go ahead.
What is the meaning of column, sir? Column? Name, column, names.
Oh,
if instead of column?
This is the column is nothing but the right side is the collection and left side is each element and the type. It's basically looping through that element.
Okay.
It's kind of a basic syntax. Yeah, go ahead.
If you write is equal to instead of column, what will happen, sir?
Here you want to write equal to, you cannot write that. It will throw compile time error.
Okay.
Okay. Can we get a specific element from name list?
Yeah, from this list?
Yeah, name list actually.
Yeah, you can get. I mean, I showed you here, right? It is for
then
name.
The index will be getting changed, right?
No,
Index
it won't
value.
change. I'll show
Like
you.
Prasanna will be getting the 0 index and the Govardhan will be getting 1.
Correct. Because,
Yeah.
because name list, this is at 0. Because
Yeah.
this list is completely separate. This object is separate object and this object is separate object. So there is no relation between these two.
Yeah.
So here, when I am adding names, the first name is Prasanna. When I am adding whatever the elements available in this, add them also into this collection. Meaning, here the first element will be Govardhan, and then next element will be Bala, and then next element will be Arun. The way it stores here is Govardhan will be stored at 1, and Bala will be stored at 2. Because the order of, list stores the values in the order that you pass in.
Yeah. Okay, one more question. Yeah. Can we add the Prasanna after the names, like this list? Like, can we interchange the 18 and 19 lines?
Yeah, you can do that. If you do like this, what happens? The indexing will be different because you added that.
Yeah.
So the way you are, whatever the way you want to add, you will get the same order.
Okay. Yeah.
You can change it.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Any other questions? So list is kind of a maintains the order. Whatever the order you put in the element, it will maintain the same order. Now it's a simple primitive object that we stored here. Now let's look at employees. So now I created an employee object with first name and last name. Just first name and last name. So now you got I created a constructor. So inside the constructor, I am trying to set these variables from whatever the arguments passed into the employee constructor. So meaning, first name will be set into first name of the class variable, last name will be set into last name of the variable. Okay? So now, let's go back and, do the employees also. It's a custom object. So far you have seen only primitive objects. Now, we are trying to create objects of your own classes and use ArrayList for that. Now, I'm trying to create list of type what class? Employee. You are defining what type of elements can be stored in ArrayList. Now, similarly, employees equal to new ArrayList of employee type. Now, I am adding elements to the employees ArrayList, just like the way previous. Now, what type of objects it will take? Only employee objects. So now I am directly creating new employee object. So when I say new employee means, so this is already defined constructor here. So now I am passing first name to the constructor. Now one object is added. Similarly, you can add any number of objects. So like this, you can add any number of objects. Now once you create this object, so these first name and last name will be set into these variables. And once the variables are set, you can access them using get method. Because in get method, what I'm trying to return, whatever the variable of this class, I am returning the same value of first name. Now let's go back here. Now I created 2 employee objects. Now, similarly, however, we did, the previous employee size. That size. Oh, sorry, I have a syntax error here. Oh. So now this will print employee. If you want to loop through the elements of that list, you can loop through them. What type of elements it is? Of employee type. That's why I am assigning the variable to employee's type, and employee, this one is just a variable name, and the collection, while I'm looping through employees, it will return only employee type objects. So I am looping through the collection employees. Now, so now here I am printing employees last name, get last name. Now you can see how the custom objects will be looped. I mean, see, just like the primitive types, the concept is same for primitive objects or custom objects. Now let's look at the demo. Now see here, employee size is 2. I stored singularity first and multitude second, so that's why you see 2. That's how you can store custom objects into array list. Any questions?
Without using for loop, can we get our last name?
You cannot, because if you want, you can get it. The way you can get it is index.
Yeah, if not, we can use while loop, right?
You can do that. Any looping, any loop you can use. Here, if you want, specific, you can use index, employees, get of index, 0 dot get last name.
Yeah, okay.
So this is how you can get the values.
Okay.
So now, Arun, to answer your question, I think you can use the while also.
Yeah. I knew that. Just telling her.
Yeah. Okay. So either way, any loop you can use. I mean, for this demo purpose, I just used for loop. So that's any other questions?
No other questions.
No question.
Yeah.
No question, sir.
Okay, sure. So now, it's all good. Now, how do I know? Now, let's say my employees, I kept only 2 here. Now, let's say I'm adding more. New, I say Arun, and now 3 objects I stored here. Now I want all this data in the first name sorted by alphabetical order. So these are all processing you can do using collections. Now here, I stored here at 0 index. I stored this one at 1 index. I stored this at 2 index. Now, but I want all this data to be sorted based on first name. So to do that, I'll explain you how to do this kind of magics after I, go through the set. For now, just keep that aside. Let's go back to set. The fundamental difference between set and list is list allows duplicates. meaning I can add same Govardhan again. Now this value will be stored at 2, and just that the index, because it considers the order. So now here names. This means this line should print, meaning this one. This should print Govardhan 2 times. See that? It prints 2 times. That means list will allow duplicates, and list will also maintain the order. Whatever the order that you insert the element, it will maintain the order. In case of set, it will not allow duplicates, and also it will not maintain order. Let's look at sets now. Okay, I'll rebuild this. Rather than I change it, I'll rebuild, so to avoid confusion. The same example I'm trying to do with the sets now. Set, I'm trying to do same set. What type of element I'm trying to store? String. Just like the list, the concept is same. The way it functions is a little bit different. So set names new has set of type string. Array list is an implementation of list. Here has set is an implementation of set. Now names dot add, the function methods are also same. Add Govardhan, because here there is no index concept. That's why I'm not mentioning the index. Names dot add Bala. Names dot add, not add all, just add. Okay. Names dot add Aaron. Now I'm trying to print the elements. Names dot toString. Let's look at the output of this program. See, there are 3 elements available, Arun, Govardhan, Bala. But the way we inserted is different. I inserted Govardhan first, Bala next, Arun next. But it will return in a random order. So set does not maintain order. Now let's say I am adding one more element here. 2 times I am adding Govardhan. No, it did not add. So set will not allow duplicate values. So that's why, even though I added second time, it did not take in. So that's the 2 fundamental differences between array list and list and set. So list maintains order, set does not maintain order. List allows duplicates, set does not allow duplicates. Now, so just like the previous example, even if you create set of type string, name list new has set. So name list dot, you can have that function, same methods available, add all, and then you can add names. Now I'm trying to print name list. Let's look at the output of this. See that. So 2 times, names list is also having the same. So let's say if I add some other name list, you can add any name. add Prasanna. So now I am trying to add Prasanna again here. Still it will not allow Prasanna 2 times because it is duplicate. Now you can see the second one. Arun, Govardhan, Prasanna, Bala. Prasanna, second time it is eliminated. Okay, so that's how sets works. So even if you create a custom, any questions before I go to the custom objects?
No question, sir.
Okay. So now, yeah. Okay. Now, how do you loop through these elements? So same, you can do however you did in the previous, right? String, name, names, but you will get in a random fashion. That's the only difference. Here is Arun, Govardhan, and Bala. This is how you can loop through the sets. Now, let's look at custom objects. I'm creating a new set object of type employee, and just like the previous way, I'm not changing anything much. New set of employee. Now, employees dot add all. Add new employee. So I'm adding one object here. Similarly, second object. Now, you can print, same employee size. You will get the same. So even if I say employee size, typo mistake. Okay. So now let's look at, I just added 2 employee objects and I'm trying to print the size. So it will work just like the way you see in array list. Employee size 2. Now, I am trying to add same object again. Same employee object, Govardhan and Singaridi. A question for you. What will happen? Can you guess?
It won't show.
Then it's the same data.
It will appear size 3 and it will not show, sir.
Let's look at. It will show 3. Okay. Now you see employee size 3. But my first name and last name is same, no difference. I told you set does not allow duplicates, but it still allowed duplicate. 3. Why? For the primitive data types, Java knows whether they are duplicate or not. This is your custom object. Java does not know how to compare these 2 objects. First one and third one are same. Because it's your own implementation, your own class, and the way you implement it is different. So Java does not have any clue to compare them. So that's why it silently adds to you. That's why you see employee size 3. Now, how we can eliminate this situation?
By manipulating equals to method?
Pardon me?
By changing the equals to method?
Yes. So now here I am trying to change. In the employee class, you need to define because it is your own class. That's why you need to define yourself. How do you want to compare two different employee objects? To do that, Java provides hash code and equals implementation. So java.lang, and for every class in Java, the super class is java.lang.object. So in the object class, these two methods are available. So you can override them however you want. So let's say I wanted to say if both first name and if the only first name is equal, I'm considering it as a duplicate. For example, it's my own custom logic. Now you can see here. This is all Eclipse automatically generates this code. Even if you write, you can write your own code. So now, if two first names are same, because I implemented hash code, so hash code is nothing but whenever you you create an object of a class, so it will store your object at a specific hash code. So now I am giving my own custom hash code generation for each object that I create. And I have written my own logic to compare two different employee objects. Now let's look at it. So now I'm comparing based on the only the first name. So this first name is same and this first name is same. Now it should not allow duplicates based on first name. Now you see the employee size is 2. So let's say if I wanted to implement the same thing based on both first name and last name. Let's say you wanted to compare if the both first name and last name are equal, then only the employee objects are equal. Then you select both first name and last name and generate hash code and equals again. Now the hash code and equals implementation will consider both first name and last name. Now let's go back to the collection. So now here, again, the same thing, right? I mean, if the both first name and last name is same, you will get the same result like employee size is equal to 2. So that means what I'm trying to say is you can implement your own logic for comparing two different objects for your custom type of objects. Now, you can loop through them. I mean, looping through them is pretty simple. I mean, just like the way how we did loop through the previous, you can loop through the same way, no difference. But the way you get the objects will be different because set will not maintain order. Employee dot get last name. Let's look at this demo. See that. Set will not maintain order, but sometimes you get like this, sometimes you get different way. So now you see here, I printed only last name, Singarity, Marketing. Any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Okay. So I'll stop here for today's session. Please go through all the samples and practice the samples. Tomorrow I will talk about hash map. These are only simple set and list. Tomorrow I'll talk about map and maps implementations. So I may ask you a few questions around map tomorrow. Be prepared.